Love you, love me. She wants to love you. Do you love me too? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta actually start a video. What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm showing you guys the process of designing Beat, which is based upon the cover of Jussmakeart Radio Future. Now, the main reason why I'm designing this, and welcome, if it's your first time, this is the first video of this channel. So I'm going to be doing a lot of video game covers, as well as old school nostalgia pop culture content that happened back in the days. So if you're interested in stuff like that, make sure you hit the like button. So when it comes down to Jussmakeart Radio Future, nostalgia. Now, when I've been drawing since I was a little kid, and I remember back in the days when it came down to this, right? I had to share my Xbox because technically speaking, it wasn't my Xbox, it was my brother's. So it came with this bundle, right, which is the Jussmakeart Radio Future and what was that again? Sega GT 2002. Anyway, so I love you, you love me. When it came down to making this illustration, now I'm not gonna lie to you. I could literally lie and be like, yeah, I've been playing the music of Jussmakeart Radio Future. I actually was playing it afterwards, so I wish I was actually playing the music while making this, because in the beginning of drawing this, I was struggling. All right. And mind you, I'm doing it based upon the vertical hideous aspect ratio. I prefer the wide aspect ratio, but I have to kill two birds with one stone, which is making a YouTube short and at the same time making the longer content. So it has to stay consistent with the vertical aspect ratio. And of course, when I looked at references, which is the original cover, right, which is iconic, right, of Beat having the spray can, his skinny, elongated, so expressive with the skates and all that stuff and the design. And then you have this fan art that someone made, so shout out to him, SGDQ. I don't know who this guy is, but I definitely looked at this as inspiration because it really shows how expressive he harnessed the essence, right, of the character. So, and of course it works in a wide aspect ratio compared to my vertical. But anyway, I was frustrated when making this. I'm not gonna lie. The first time when I did, I was like, I'm trying to fit the proportions and it just was out of whack. And the head was too big, the legs was too skinny. It felt crunched in, like I'm really suffering with suffering succotash. I am suffering with condensing and fitting the character within this vertical aspect ratio. Showing you guys the fact that, look, I don't have a magic wand, right? Artists, we do not have magic wands, okay? If it don't work, my motto is this: if it don't work, try again. Start all over and try again. So the second time, I'm doing it from more of a profile perspective, just trying to see if it could look cooler by having it like a side view rather than a front view, and it just didn't work because the proportions again was off. And like, that's the thing about it, the head is the golden ratio. So in case you don't understand, the 5 golden ratio is based upon the human proportion of our body, which artists, we interpret that when it comes down to drawing characters. If the head is too small or if it's too big, it throws off the whole composition of what you're illustrating. So once I realized that the head just didn't work in proportion to the feet, I had to start all over.
You
know what? I'm not gonna give up. And right here, this was the moment I emphasize on the hand and the spray can. That was the antithesis right there. I was like, look, I need this spray can to be in your face to the point where it's gonna smack your head and hit you with colors of mass creativity. So Once that was established, I'm like, okay, I think I'm getting somewhere. Now, I want to also reference and let you guys know off the bat, I am not really good when it comes down to drawing hands and drawing feet. So this was a challenge because I couldn't run away from it. A lot of my illustrations, in case you haven't noticed, a lot of them don't really showcase the hands as much. I recently gotten better at drawing hands, but you sometimes can see hands, but for the most part, you don't see feet. I do not draw feet, okay? I do not have a feet fetish. I don't like feet. However, if I don't showcase the skates, that just defeats the purpose of the whole drawing itself, of drawing Beat from Jet Set Radio Future. So I had no other choice but to put those hands in front of your face and the spray can, as well as the skates. So once I got that gesture there, then I started to rotate it, flip it horizontal, and just because I didn't want the 3/4 view to look similar to the original source, I wanted it to be like a different perspective, and I was happy with the gesture. So now I'm moving forward in terms of adding a few more details, which is the clothes, looking at the reference of Beats, those two references, one fan art, one original, and just going back and forth with trying to captivate the illustration of Beat. Now, there was a time where I was gonna make his hands go up, but it just looked weird. It looks like he's like, oh my god, like he's going like, oh my god, like feminine, and then he has like, looks like he has a phone on his hand. So I'm like, no. And so and then I end up just putting it as a fist. All right, so give it the fist, Mephisto, the fist of fury. And then after doing some touch-ups and just erasing a few stuff, now this is the cleanest, so I'm just cleaning it out. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the pen tool. It's just one of those things where that's my methodology. I prefer using the pen tool because the illustrations come out a lot cleaner. And since it's a vector graphic, you can make it any size you want because it's not based upon pixels. It's based upon the metrics that are onto the vector graphic. So it's all mathematical rather than pixels. Whereas Adobe Photoshop and those type of programs where they use pixels, those aspects is like a reference to photography. While Adobe Illustrator, the aspect is based upon like making logo designs, building designs, like, so it has more of a cleaner approach compared to other programs. So pretty much any vector graphic program will do the job. I know some people say, but Adobe Photoshop, you could do the same thing. I like the user interface using a pen tool on Adobe Illustrator more than Adobe Photoshop. Beat! He got the ball! One more lap, you almost do! Again, I'm not going to bore you with the pen tool process. It's literally self-explanatory. I am tracing over my sketch to look more cleaner, and at the same time to now later on after utilizing, I think that sounds a lot better. Anyway, so right after that was complete, that's when I end up doing the coloring process. Colors! You gotta love the colors! So even when it came down to the coloring process, I was looking at the reference of both the fan art and the official cover of the game. Based upon the gameplay of seeing Beats, I guess his shades are green. So I just went with green rather than blue. I think that I think the biggest confusion has to be the fact that when it comes down to the cover, it's stylized, so it's not actually authentic to how he looks in the gameplay, so it's exaggerated. So I lean more towards the fan art, ironically, than the actual cover art. And then from there, just continuing with filling out the color. I really liked the way it was coming out. I was a little bit skeptical. I'm always like that. I'm such a perfectionist, and I'm not saying in an arrogant way. It's actually like a gift and a curse, because sometimes I'll look at something, I'm like, this is off, and then the average person is like, what are you talking about? This looks amazing. I'm just like, no, I can see this, and then sometimes whatever you're doing, you end up ironically messing it up. It's like, no, sometimes less is more. Like, leave it the way it is. You constantly trying to fix it is actually making it worse. So I always got to tell myself that when making illustrations, because you can definitely become your worst enemy. Luke. I am your brother. You are? No. Technically, I'm you. I am your worst enemy. I am your worst nightmare. Wait a minute. You just copied Bruce line from Tekken 5. No, I didn't. Shut up. So, when the color was complete, that's when I said, I love you. You love me. I love you. Okay. I didn't actually say that. I was just like, yeah. This is the finished version of this illustration. So I made two different versions. Now this one is more reminiscent of the video game, just in my own type of style, because of the whole simplistic graphics that they have. That's like a stripe type of design that's red in the background, and just added like, you know, just the stripes as if he's in motion. So I just played around with a lot of textures and just played around with the lighting as well. And then I also made the more of a simplistic brand extension, so it was more associated with the brand itself. So those are the two versions. Which one you guys prefer? Let me know down below. Also, let me know down below any nostalgia video game covers you guys want me to cover. You get it? Cover, you know, cover. Cover girl. I thank you guys for watching, especially at this long. So take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.